So you don't know what to major in college. Should you go into business, STEM, or maybe the liberal arts? Or do you have a passion that you want to pursue, such as music or art? What should you choose? Well, I think I can help. Hi, I'm Juan Helifen, a soon-to-be sophomore at Santa Clara University. Like you, I didn't know what to choose as my major. I'm passionate about both music and the environment and money. So I didn't know what to choose. After much negotiation with my parents, I settled on a double major in music and management information systems. I chose something that I was passionate about and something to rely on as a backup plan. However, there are many different routes that you can take, and I'd like to explore them with my friends. So hop on and meet my friend Charlize, a freshman at Emerson University. Hey Charlize, how you doing?
Oh my God, what is up?
Can you introduce yourself real quick?
Okay, so I'm Charlize. I'm a freshman journalism major. I just finished being a freshman journalism major at Emerson College.
Was this always what you're planning to do?
Um, I always thought I was gonna go into like environmental studies for like the beginning of high school or like something in STEM. And then I think I changed my mind maybe halfway through junior year, which is really bad, but here we are.
And did your parents object to journalism as a major, or did they accept it?
Um, I think they're kind of split on kind of like they wanted me to be independent and they wanted me to do what I wanted to do as long as like I followed through with it and I paid for my own college and all that. But like secretly, I know my mom or like my dad wanted me to be like an engineering major, like a doctor, a lawyer, whatever.
Were they worried about like your financial situation, or is it more like a heritage legacy type?
Um, it's definitely more like my financial situation. I don't think my parents were super aware of like how little writers get paid and how kind of hard it is to get started in the field of freelancing and everything. So they're kind of just like, that's cool. And like they kind of I think they rolled with the journalism major and thought I was just gonna become like a reporter, like an on-screen reporter after.
Are you worried about your financial future? And like, since you pursued your passion, are you worried like you might not be able to pay off student debt or find a job in the future? Is that a big worry for you?
I think the worry is kind of just like finding a stable job because I know that like entry level jobs in the field aren't too hard to get, especially if you have like their prerequisites for it and everything. Like it's not super hard to get one, but kind of maintaining it is more difficult, I think. But yeah, paying off student debt is always just like something that I've come to terms with, and the fact that it's going to be pretty difficult afterwards.
Would you recommend high school seniors to do what you did, pursue their passions, or should they follow their family's advice, typically, which is to uh, do something that makes a lot of money instead?
I mean, like I wouldn't advise against doing what you've always wanted to do because I feel like before college, a lot of your life has been planned out for you already, and you don't really
Mhm.
have much of a choice as to what you're gonna do and what classes you get to take. But like that's kind of just like part of being an adult. Like you consciously make the decision of what you want to major in and what career you want to have moving forward, no matter what the financial outcome is going to be. But it's all about like I feel like careers are more important. Like it's more important to do something that you enjoy than something that earns the most money because as long as you like doing it, I feel like paying off student debt or like having to worry about finances is going to be like the least of your worries. It's
Yeah,
definitely be a worry, just like not as big of one. Like it's definitely something that I've had as an internal dilemma for a little bit. Like I always like find myself worrying about finances every now and then, but it's like I don't want to live my life worrying about like what my next paycheck is gonna be paying and everything. Like I
mhm.
don't want it to be just about money because like it's not the point of life. Like as corny as it sounds, I kind of want to like if the opportunity is there, like the least you should do is try to take it.
I love that mindset.
Yeah.
Okay, so thank you, Charlize, for talking with me, and have a good night.
Yeah, you too.
Now let's talk to Nikhil, an aerospace engineering student at UCLA. So, what's your major?
Oh boy. Let me think. Aerospace engineering, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so I know you've been passionate about airplanes since you were small,
Yep.
and you want to be a pilot,
Yeah.
but what happened?
So I wanted to be a pilot for most of my life. This was up until I think around middle school. Uh, and it was at middle school where I got this light up top as a toy, and it works by, when it spins, it generates electricity to light up.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of where my idea started, that, hey, what if I build zero emission planes that worked off of spinning their own jet engine turbines? But that's that doesn't work. That's like
Yeah.
physically impossible. But nonetheless, that still was my first spark into aircraft design and making airplanes more sustainable, more fuel efficient and faster. And so I started transitioning to the engineering side of things around that time. And that's where I started shifting my focus from preparing to be a pilot, which involved a lot of flight simulator time and researching real world aircraft procedures that pilots follow, to learning math, learning physics, doing engineering.
Nikhil, do you have any advice for high school seniors choosing a major? I know you're in the lucky position of having a hobby that brings you joy and can bring you money. But in a lot of cases, like if you're interested in music or art, being financially stable with your hobby is not always like as guaranteed, you know.
Yeah.
So what's your advice to high school seniors choosing a major?
Oh, I will say that because I'm pursuing an engineering degree right now, as you said, I'm speaking from a place of a little less stress when it comes to my financial outlooks coming out of this degree. But I did actually consider being a music major at one point, because I wanted to pursue conducting, orchestral conducting.
Mhm.
And I still want to, at least on the side, but I don't know how far that'll go right now. As for, I know it's easy for me to say, you should just do the thing that you enjoy, because you'll probably work at that the hardest, because you actually like doing it and you have an end goal in mind, and it's easy for you to make a path toward your success. I will say, I have music major friends here. Those are mainly the only non-engineering people that I've talked to mostly. And sometimes I'll talk to them, and even they don't have an end goal in mind, and that kind of tends to worry me mainly. Now, I don't know what goes into, finding a career as a music major, but I imagine that no matter what you're doing, like having something to work towards is always going to help you.
Yeah.
And if you do your research and figure out possible pathways for you, whether you're a music major, whether that involves teaching or playing an ensemble or both, I think it's usually both, or, etc. Or if it's me as an engineer, whether it's going into industry or doing research or going to teaching, knowing the possible pathways you can enter and finding how to get to those pathways, no matter how hard it is. I'm sure there's selection process involved. I'm sure there'll be hiccups along the way. But if you at least have the pathway in mind, you can work towards it. And people with plans know how to execute them. And people who execute those plans become successful. So that's how I would look at, especially if you're trying to choose a major that you don't feel like financially stable. That's the best thing I could think of.
That's great advice. I want to add one more thing. I've noticed that it's possible for someone, even with a plan, to completely derail and still end up successful.
Yes.
So I want people to know that you're not stuck with anything.
Of course. Yeah.
If you major in like art, you can end up in business. You major in business, you can end up in art. I think that choosing what you do will definitely help you have a goal in mind, but it
Yeah.
shouldn't limit you to something that you don't want to do.
Of course. And with that point, that's a good point. I'll modify my answer a little bit. I would say while you're interested in the thing that you are, have an end goal in mind. And then if you decide while you're working through this thing that you don't like it, then you choose something else, make an end goal for that. But if you're in this thing you're interested in and you don't have anything in mind for how, even in the slightest end goal, you don't know what to pursue within those interests. And that's probably just going to also derail you, but not in a good way. So, yeah, that's all I could say.
So to sum it up, have an end goal in mind.
Yeah.
But be flexible at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's hard, but
That's hard.
That is life.
Yeah. Hey, thanks for talking with me, bro. I'll catch you whenever you come back here, right?
Yeah. Good luck with your hopes and dreams, whoever watches this.
Yeah, good luck. Finally, last but not least, let's talk to my friend Ted, a senior at Santa Clara University studying music.
All right, I'm Ted. I'm a senior here at Santa Clara, and I came into Santa Clara as a business major. Wasn't really sure that's what I wanted to do. I really started focusing on business my sophomore year, the first half, and then I was just like, this is not for me, and I switched to biology, and during COVID, I switched out of biology to music.
Was it because your parents told you to choose business and biology that you didn't choose it before? Or did you not like discover your passion for music till last year?
Yeah, well, they did, it was like, oh, you have to do business. And then, because when I was applying, they were like, oh, it'll be easier to get scholarships and get like, and get a spot in the business school or in a school if you just pick one. And they were like, pick business. Because I had really no idea what I wanted to do. So then I liked music, but I didn't know I wanted to do like music school or anything. So I picked business. And then I took some like accounting classes and I was like, oh, hell no. Like, I'm not doing this. I was just like, this is so boring. And I was like, I'm really forcing myself to do literally everything. Like, I'm not really having fun in any of it, even though like, whatever, the point isn't to have fun, but I was still like, I don't know. I just don't want to do this. So I really wanted to do music instead, but they were like, no, you have to do something a little more serious. So I did biology instead, and I made it pretty far in that. And I was doing all the organic chemistry series and stuff over COVID. And then, but I was already struggling enough to make it through chemistry. And like, I was on like a lot of my ADHD medication and stuff. And I was kind of like, not like cheating, but like turning stuff in at the last minute, like finding loopholes, like barely scraping by. And then when I stopped my ADHD medication during COVID, and then I was just like, wow, I literally can't do this. Like the organic chemistry stuff, I was like, this is like, it was just too hard. I was like, this is literally grueling, and I'm not really having any fun. And I started getting like some pretty bad grades. My parents were like, honestly, just like, if you can switch out of this and graduate with something in time, do it. And I was like, okay, hell yeah. Then I switched to music, and I've been much happier since. It is a little less secure job wise of a major, but I was just gonna have like a really hard time making myself do something that I didn't really enjoy.
But are you worried about you not being able to find a job when you graduate from a music degree?
Yeah, I definitely do. But also like I'm gonna be like I have cheap taste, so like I don't need to make like that much money. But like I'm gonna be fine. But it is something that I do worry about. Like I'm gonna be teaching guitar lessons. And I was actually talking with my private instructor today about that and like making money from that. And you can make like a decent living just being like a music instructor, but it apparently takes time because you have to build up like kind of a legacy
You have to
with
find
students.
students. My saxophone instructor, she teaches here at SCU, and then she plays for a bunch of different bands and organizations, and it's a really busy life. But like,
Yeah.
if it makes you happy, you know, like what's your take on it?
Yeah, no, I agree. It is super busy, but at least it would be fun. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's not going to be like looking at a screen all day, and I'd be surrounded by music. And also, one thing about it is, well, actually, I mean, I guess this is kind of with every career path, and it's the same with business or like chemistry or anything. Even though it's kind of scary, it feels, at least it does feel very open ended. You know, like there's a lot to learn, and who knows where that's going to take you. And I guess this doesn't really apply with the biology stuff as much, but I guess this is also kind of similar in business. Like very important is like who you know and like networking and working with the right people and all of that. And so like I think I'm going to be fine doing that, but it is something that I worry about a little bit, definitely.
Yeah. What advice would you give for seniors in high school? Should they choose a practical job like business and biology if their parents tell them to, or should they like follow your footsteps and choose what they love to do instead?
I would say a little bit of both, because some people, there's a lot of people out there. It's a spectrum. There's a lot of people out there who can, there's something they can gain a lot from, make a lot of money from, and they're good at it, but they don't really enjoy it. They won't enjoy forcing themselves to do it, but they actually can force themselves to do it, and they'll be okay with it. It's like, if you can make yourself do it, you probably should.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say probably, yeah, minor or something, and like what you like more, and then take what's going to make the most money as your major. And then if it's not working, don't do what I did and then wait until like halfway through college to switch and have to overload. I would say give it 1 year or 1.5 years and just see how you're doing in it. And if you're not finding any excitement in it, then I would say switch out. Or if you're not if you're not finding any excitement in it, but you're doing fine, then maybe don't switch out. Cause like there's so many people whose like their job does not like define how much fun they have in their life, or how much, like so many people hate their jobs, but still like enjoy life and have like a fine life and stuff. So like there is something to be said for like forcing yourself to do what makes more money. But also I would say just like, if you're realizing like, oh, like I'm not going to be able to make myself do this unless I'm passionate about it, then really only like give it a year and then switch. Cause like you don't want to wait too long. Cause that's kind of one regret I have. I'm like, I wish I kind of like stood up to my parents a little bit more about switching to music. Cause like I've been doing great since I switched, and my GPA's been much better, and I've been having a lot of fun and learning a lot. But I'm like, okay, wow, if this was the path I'm going to do, I wish I had been doing this all 4 years and then really gotten the most out of it. So yeah, I would say give it a year to test it out. Every time I just have to switch majors, it'd be like, okay, how am I going to graduate in time now? And I'd have to make a game plan for like, when am I going to take? And so I guess it did kind of build a bit of a stress tolerance.
Yeah.
Because it is stressful having to start over again in like a major, and then doing that multiple times. You do definitely learn. It like builds a little bit of resilience. But you just lose time. That's the thing.
Hey, at least you graduated on time, bro. I'm happy for you. I'll go to graduation. Thanks so much for talking with me, and I'll catch you later, bro.
Okay, lit. All right. See ya.
talking to my friends, I learned that there's no right answer for everyone. And it's really up to you as an individual to decide what to major in and whether to choose whether or not you're gonna pursue your passion or something else. It really depends on a lot of different factors, but I hope that these combos have cleared up a lot of things for you.